welcome to every movie I've ever seen. April is over, we're into May now, so it's time for a new theme. And I can honestly think of no better day than today to announce the theme for May, which is May the 4th. Now what I'm going to be doing for May the 4th is I'm going to be reviewing the fourth film in franchises, specifically franchises that only had 4 films. So just going to be kind of looking at this fourth film, wondering what might have happened in the first 3, and wondering why they might not have made a 5th movie in this franchise. So the movie that I'm talking about today is Victor Crowley. This is the 4th film in the Hatchet franchise, and this doesn't entirely fit, but I knew I wanted to do this when I decided on this theme because Victor Crowley came out in 2017 and there is still talk about a sequel to this, a 5th movie, but for now it's just a 4-movie franchise, and it's also somewhat relevant because back when I was doing the rummage sale movies a long time ago, Hatchet 3 was a movie that I watched. I hadn't seen the first 2 Hatchets, so I watched Hatchet 3, and now I still haven't seen the first 2 Hatchets, and I watched the sequel to Hatchet 3, Victor Crowley. It's not Hatchet 4. Why is it not Hatchet 4? I don't know. I guess they thought Victor Crowley would market better. Does his name have pull? Are more people going to see it because it's called Victor Crowley? I mean, he is, from what I've seen, he's only ever called Victor Crowley. He's got a nickname or something. What do they call it? What's it called for like killers when they have a name they're called by the press? Like the Zodiac Killer isn't his real name. He doesn't call himself the Zodiac Killer, whoever he is. I don't know, I'm not him. But the Zodiac Killer, that was a name given to him by the press. I feel like there's a word for it. I'm forgetting. Anyway, because I think in the press they called Victor Crowley the Bio Butcher, I believe. I don't know. But yeah, this is the 4th film. It's honestly, when I watched this, it works surprisingly well on its own. Like, you could definitely just start with this one and not see the first 3, and you wouldn't be like confused as to what was going on, because the basic story could be standalone. The premise is the main character, who I wasn't really sure if he was the main character for a while. I'll get to that too. He is the only survivor of the murders that happened 10 years ago, which I believe is the first 3 films. So, but with that premise, you don't really need to see the first 3 films, because the movie could very well just be, this happened 10 years ago and now it's starting up again. I feel like there's been a couple movies like that. Something like Scream, for example. This isn't the best example, but part of the premise of Scream is the murder of Maureen Prescott, Sidney's mother. That's not seen. That's what already happened. There could theoretically be a earlier movie in which Maureen Prescott is the main character. A show like Harper's Island. It's a good show. I'd highly recommend it. Only a good 1-season show. It's not like it got canceled or anything. It told the story that it was meant to tell. A show like Harper's Island, the setup is, a couple years ago there were a bunch of killings, and now maybe the killings are starting up again. Is the killer back? But but we thought he died. Oh no, what's going on? That's the premise of that. So you could potentially start this off with this movie, and that was interesting. It opens up kind of dumb and pointless. There's like two random people back in like the 60s who get murdered by Victor Crowley, and it's kind of irrelevant to the story and a little annoying because there were attempts in this specific scene for humor, and they just wasn't funny at all. It was extremely unfunny. It's like the one guy is proposing to his girlfriend, and she's like crying and this snot bubbling all over her face and screaming. It's like this is supposed to be funny, but it's just very not funny. And there were a lot of attempts at humor in this movie, and none of it really landed, but the majority of it didn't like take away from the movie. You know, it's like, okay, that's fine. It wasn't exactly funny, but it wasn't unfunny. It's okay. It's not out cold. It's just okay. But yeah, and I mentioned the guy. I believe his name is Andrew Yong. Apparently he's the main character in the movie. I was a little unsure of that because it definitely sets up this one chick to be the main character, which maybe I'm just used to the main character in horror movies being females, so like maybe that's just why I thought. But I feel like it kind of set up with her, and you know, it was her and then her boyfriend and then her friend, and I kind of figured that this story was about them, and this Andrew guy, he was, you know, a secondary character. Apparently he's in all the other Hatchet movies. I vaguely remember him from Hatchet 3. He's playing the same character in Hatchet 3. He plays two different characters in Hatchet 1 and 2. So I guess he's got promoted to a recurring role in the Hatchet franchise. Good for him. Yeah. There's a couple movies that this reminded me of. This reminded me of Scream 3 and Jurassic Park 3, which is super weird. The obvious Scream 3 is because the premise for the red herring main character is she's making a movie about Victor Crowley with her boyfriend and her friend, and that's similar to Scream 3. Scream 3, they are filming Stab 3, which that's a whole other thing. The Stab franchise within the Scream franchise is a whole long video that I could make. But yeah, they're making Stab 3 and Scream 3, and the cast of Stab 3 start dying off. That's the general premise for Scream 3, so I got a little bit of Scream 3 vibes there. And I also got Jurassic Park 3 vibes, which is really odd. Because you get the main character, Andrew Yong, who's in this scenario similar to Alan Grant. He went through this thing. He doesn't want to go back to the swamp where it happened, but eventually he gets convinced to go back to the swamp. He boards a plane. The plane crashes in the swamp, and so now he's stuck there. And eventually he finds out that he went there because he thought he was going to get a lot of money. It wasn't as much money as he thought. That's pretty much kind of what happens with Alan Grant's character in Jurassic Park 3. He wants nothing to do with the dinosaurs. He doesn't want to go back to the island. He gets on a plane. Before that, he gets offered a lot of money to be a tour guide, sort of. It's like he was told that the plane was not going to land. Eventually, the plane did land. He protested this, of course. And then when they tried to take off, the plane ended up crashing. They were stuck on the island. It was later revealed that William H. Macy's character wasn't even rich like he claimed, and that check, the money he was going to give him, wasn't even any good. Alan Grant has the line, stuck on the worst place on Earth and not even getting paid, which is good. They should address that in Jurassic World 3, because William H. Macy character mentions how, like, oh, you need bathroom work done, I'll fix up your bathroom or something. They should bring that back somehow, like a subtle reference, like maybe when we finally see Sam Neill's character again, he's got like a really nice bathroom or something. Anyway, that was a random tangent. But yeah, so I got Jurassic Park 3 and Scream 3 vibes from both of from this movie. And they're both threes, so that's somewhat interesting. But yeah, the effects, I guess you could call it, blood, prosthetic, guts. It was okay. Not the most of it. I mean, it looked decent. They sure did like to utilize the decapitation, blood squirting out thing. They did that quite frequently. A lot of head stuff. A lot of like bashing in the head and bashing out eyes and stuff. But in the beginning, that like pointless scene that I didn't like, it looked really bad. The like prosthetics and like the fake heads and fake legs, it looked really bad. I'm like, boy, I don't remember why is this bad? I don't. A couple cameos in this, of course. Tyler Mane, he plays Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I didn't recognize him, but I should have. He had a small little cameo. And then the director and some other director he's friends with, they have cameos in this movie too. They play the pilot and the co-pilot, which I didn't like. I don't know what they look like. I just could tell by the fact that, like, the way the scene was, I could tell, like, okay, the pilot is somebody famous, but I don't know who that is. I could tell by the way it was shot that it was a cameo by somebody. What I didn't know is that the person who made the director of this movie also directed Frozen, the 2010 horror thriller movie starring Shawn Ashmore, where he's stuck on a ski lift. I did not know he directed that movie and this movie. I liked Frozen a lot, and I also found out that the female character in Frozen, she has a little cameo in Hatchet too. So maybe I'll actually watch the first two Hatchets. I still have not yet to see the first two Hatchets. I'll probably rewatch the third one. Or probably at some point if I have free time, which is not ever, I would watch Hatchets. I'd watch Hatchets 1, 2, and 3 and just a little marathon them a little bit. But yeah, I said it's a little different. This movie a little different than what I wanted May the 4th to be, because it seems like they do intend on making a Hatchet 5, or maybe like a Victor Crowley 2 would be closer to what I think, because what I saw, the director had a vision for Hatchets 1, 2, and 3, and so now he's got a vision for this new trilogy, which maybe would be Victor Crowley 1, 2, and 3. Which is okay. Danielle Harris has a cameo at the end of this. I remember she was the main character in Hatchet 3. I believe she's also in Hatchet 2. But yeah. And so the girl that I thought was the main girl, here's why it kind of threw me, because her boyfriend dies pretty quickly. I was like, oh, okay, I figured he would stick around a little bit longer, so there would be a little bit more emotional impact to his death. But then she dies fairly quickly too. I was like, wait, so she's not the main character. I wonder if that was intentional. Because once she dies, there's more focus to her friend, Rose, I believe, and I believe she was in Hatchet 2 or 3 as well. I mean, if she was in 3, I don't remember. I don't remember a whole much about Hatchet 3. Besides that, there's like a lot of, like, I think the police or military or whatever get involved in this one. They're like mowing down the swamp trying to kill him or something like that. Very, very Predator-like, shooting into the jungle. Yeah. And she survives as well as the Andrew Young character. I guess they're teasing a Avengers level team up for Hatchet 5 with Danielle Harris and all the other survivors coming back together. But yeah, I mean the movie was fine. I'm sure the people who enjoy the Hatchet franchise liked it, and it's not like that's not like a knock against the people who liked it. I mean, you know, I've definitely seen worse horror movies, and you know, this isn't in a. I'll say this in a good way, like a respectable way, respectfully. You know, they're not making Shakespeare here, and they knew they weren't making Shakespeare. So I think it allows it to be successful, you know, at least financially. Damn it. But yeah, I. I'm starting to having a sneeze. I don't like that. Especially not on the video. I'm definitely not re-recording this. But yeah, you know, the movie was fine. The beginning kind of sucked. I liked how independent it actually was from the main story. None of the characters were all that interesting or likable, but you know, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But yeah. And that's all I've got to say about Victor Crowley.